Hello, and welcome to the O'Rourke Report. Thank you for tuning in today. We got a couple of things to go over, a couple of new things. And first, let me start out by saying if you want to be notified every time we do put out an O'Rourke Report, we're a little behind. We had a lot of personal things to take care of. August was a tough month, but it is past. We are in a glorious, so far here, it's been a glorious early autumnal days with high blue skies and no humidity and warm sun, and it's just been beautiful. But if you want to be notified every time I do put out one, which I'll be more regular now, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit the like button, hit all those good things, and you will never miss an upcoming episode. So thank you. Okay, let's start out right away with it's Heather Dubrow all day, every day. Last week we were treated to a double dose of Heather. We had her out and as a guest appearance on Million Dollar Listing with Josh Altman, and apparently she and Terry are looking to relocate to Beverly Hills, and who better than the Altman brothers to find the perfect location? And again, Heather is able to finagle these most favored nation shots from the camera crew, whether it be her own crew or another crew. She had this beautiful shot of her and Josh discussing the merits of the property with her posed, ever just so, laying perfectly posed, the sunset dropping behind them. And it's nice to see that she works her magic no matter where she goes. And one thing that happened on the OC, now today is Tuesday. Of course, I haven't seen this week's episode yet. That's not till Thursday. But last Thursday's episode, or maybe it was the week before, whenever they did the Traders takeoff, apparently Tamra wanted to do an homage to the Traders, because she was actually on the show. I think she was voted off first or second. But she still wanted to, garner some kind of publicity on that. So she had a Traders show with a guest appearance by the always annoying Teddy Mellencamp, who did have a nice dig at Vicky. Yeah, it was funny too. It was funny to see the dig being Teddy Mellencamp welcomes housewives, and you too, Vicky. So it was kind of cute, but apparently, so they all dressed up in some sort of Scottish getup, whether it be a kilt or some sort of tartan, and for some reason, and she usually doesn't put a foot wrong. This is why it was so shocking to see Heather donned a wig or extensions. I think she put extensions in to give her long hair. She usually doesn't bother with that because, she dresses elegantly. She doesn't need to make believe she's an aged Barbie doll. But the extensions she put in, the colors were really mixed, didn't match. I think the extension was like a dark or auburn red, unless for some strange reason Heather thinks her hair is a dark or auburn red. Not sure why she had those extensions in. But, even the mighty, we see that they sometimes make mistakes. So I thought that was interesting. So Heather Dubrow all day, every day. Okay, let's next go on to Dubai. It was the final episode of the season. Never at any point was it compelling television that you really wanted to find out what these what these high flyers were up to next. It's official. Ayan Chanel is annoying. She's just plain annoying. I'm so sorry. And is she really cousins with, and I don't want her to know what her name is on Roni, the new iteration of New York, but Dubia, I don't know what her name is. Oh gosh. Um, Supposedly they're related, which is which I thought was interesting. I don't think we've ever seen that before. Two such disparate locations. What are the chances? Let's see. What else do I have to say about Dubai? Nothing really. Um, I thought it was interesting. There was some backstory on from Carolyn Stanbury, and I wonder how it is she has such emotional maturity compared to the other women who tend to be very thin skinned. If they imagine any sort of slight or insight, they're off to the races and they get very combative, very nasty. But Stansberry doesn't do that. Why is that? And she was saying about the culture in England of the upper crust, which is to send their children off fairly early. Like they mentioned the age 8 years old, but I can't imagine sending my 8-year-old off to boarding school. Oh, that these children, that as children, they're sent off to boarding school early because it's encouraged for them to learn independence and maturity. And I gotta say, in the case of Stansbury, it looks like it kind of worked a little bit because her level of emotional maturity far surpasses the other women on the cast, despite any sort of posing the other women do. That's in my estimation. If you don't agree, please, I'd love to hear your comments. Yeah, drop me a couple of comments. Let me know. What else did we have? Oh, the only other thing I want to mention about Dubai, I always scrutinize the confessional looks. Well, Lisa Milan had a confessional look that highlighted her boobs, but her boobs are mismatched. It's like one implant is higher than the other. And it's so obvious. I mean, can't you look in a mirror and say, wow, my implants are off. Maybe I should wear a dress that'll cover that up. No, critics be damned, bring on the decollage. And it was one boob up here, one boob down there. That was the way I took that. Okay, so we are now going to go off to, where are we going? $1 Million Listing LA. Not much to mention. Love the show. I mentioned we had a double dose of the Heather and Harry Dubrow. I think we're on this week's episode going out to dinner. They seem to be with the Altmans. They seem to be a great couple, and I know these are professional posers, and they've been on TV a long time. They know how to paint the face and do the face, but I seem to think since they look sincerely like two couples that really enjoyed each other, and I hope that's true. Um, so that's what I took away from there. One other comment I want to make is Josh is showing a house in Pasadena. Now, I don't know a lot about Californian history, but I think it wasn't until the mid 19th century that you had any sort of populations moving in there. And then certainly by the turn of the 20th century, in other words, 120 years ago, you started to have a lot of people, move in and build these massive homes, these beautiful historical homes, which if anybody who watches the show knows that Josh really loves the older architect, especially if it's got storied history. Seems to specialize in somebody who may have been in the industry, in the movie business. Oh, this director owned it, or this screenwriter owned it. Well, he was touring a home in Pasadena, which you will remember is where Erica Jane lived with her husband, and where it sometimes snows. And I think Meghan Markle and Prince Harry live somewhere in the vicinity now. Well, anyway, he was visiting this wonderful home, and he was taking a tour, and he was talking with somebody equally knowledgeable. And he said to this other person, do you know why the hallways were so wide in these older homes? And the guy, said, no, why? And Josh says, because of the skirts. Well, people were not wearing those big hoop skirts in the early 20th century. I don't know where you're getting that, but I just thought that was a rare misstep on Josh Flagg's part, is that he was misidentifying the fashion in the early 20th century, presumably when this home was built, I'm assuming, because prior to that, nothing was really being built there. I mean, the gold rush was 1849, right? I mean, come on. So, anywho, so $1 Million Listing, still one of my favorites. I think we're already at the season ending. Isn't this week going to be the season closer? Kind of bumming me out a little bit because I really do love the show. And always like to put in my 2 cents in about what those folks are doing. Okay, so let's go on to we got a couple of little odds and ends, really. Twitter wars. Twitter wars. There was a Twitter war between Stanberry, Dubai, and Lisa Milan, Dubai. Not quite sure. It had something to do with the Cotswolds, which Lisa Milan called the Cotswolds. She spelled the W-A-L-D. Um, and it was just a ridiculous little going back and forth that Lisa Milan came across as very petty. Stanberry, of course, cream and rose to the top. My estimation, I know, there's probably a lot of people who hate her, but I think when it comes to being a wordsmith, you don't want to go up against Carolyn Stanberry. You just don't want to, because she's that good. The other Twitter war, messy as messy can be. Tamra, Judd, and Vicky. Now, Tamra Judd famously, we know, has got, I think, our oldest girl doesn't have anything to do with her mother publicly, because she's been very open with her mother that she wants her mother not a Real Housewife. And Tamara is going to give you Real Housewife 24/7, and her daughter's not interested. And her daughter's told her that, listen, when you get off the show and you want to go back to having a real relationship, let's do it. And of course, this is the last thing in the world Tamara's going to do. She's got 2 other children that apparently are talk to her and actually participate in the show, albeit very reluctantly, if you ask me, whenever the camera's on. And they are not interested in putting on any of the faux performances that their mother appears to insist upon. So anyway, so Tamara is complaining about that, and who was she? Was she blaming somebody else? I forget who it was. Well, in comes Vicky Gunvalson, the original OG of the OC, who very clearly spells out to the TikTok viewing audience why the child doesn't have anything to do with Vicky, and unless and until, not Vicky, excuse me, Tamara, and unless and until Tamara does finally quit the Real Housewives and begins leading a normal life, that relationship is not going to repair. Well, Tamara's comeback was, meanwhile, Tamara has had some kind of surgical peel, so her face looks like it's 3rd-degree burns, and it's flaking off, and the eyes are kind of closed as slits, and there's bandaging around the head. And she's crying into the camera. Okay, Vicky, you win. How dare you? She put on a performance like you wouldn't believe. Like, how dare Vicky say these things about her? Well, she says them because they're true. Okay, all right. A couple of more odds and ends. Somebody had this on Instagram. I don't know who it was a picture of Dorit and Maurizio, which had always kind of been rumored. And now that both of them are free, even though PK is doing everything in his power to get his wife back, I think. He has proudly posted pictures of him 10 months sober. He obviously has lost that drinker's puffiness. He's lost weight, and so wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting? We'll see if we see any more of those pictures crop up. Lisa Barlow, speaking, well, we're going to go on and end with the newest Obsession show, but Lisa Barlow of Salt Lake City was in New York City for Fashion Week, was dancing at the Storm, and one of her rings worth $100,000 flew off into the crowd. And of course, we went through this whole thing in Salt Lake City in this past season where she actually lost the $60,000 ring. Everybody is, of course, very suspicious that Monica Garcia was the one who was supposedly helping her look for the ring. But long story short, after the lights went up in this nightclub, they did discover the ring. So Lisa Barlow got her ring back. And which brings me to what you guys have got to start watching. It's only 6 episodes. They've already renewed it for season 2. Internet is all the Bravo sites on internet all are saying something about this show, and let me tell you, it's very, very, very interesting, and it's a binger. And that is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. There's 8 of them. They're in their 20s. They were already like super popular with hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok, where apparently they all did little TikTok dances. They're all beautiful girls. Like I said, they're in their 20s. They're in the flower of youth. They're gorgeous, and they're dancing these little TikTok dances. And super successful at it. At one point, one of the girls says, "Who's the breadwinner in your family?" And all eight hands go up like this, like, "Oh, well, way to emasculate your man." But you know, things are different. Things are different in Salt Lake City. People gotta watch the show. It is compelling and it's a ton of fun. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I appreciate you stopping by. And again, if you like what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button, and we'll be sure to notify you every time we come out with a new episode of the O'Rourke Report.